We live in a world that constantly screams for visibility. Social media floods our lives with filtered success, curated happiness, and a sense of urgency that says, if you're not blooming publicly, you're not growing at all. But I want to invite you into a truth that runs deeper than trending hashtags and comparison traps. Sometimes, your most powerful moments of growth happen in absolute silence, in stillness, in the dark. Just think of a seed. It has to be buried, covered in soil, and left alone in the dark before it ever becomes something beautiful. And for a while, nothing looks like it's happening. There's no applause, no spotlight, just silence and pressure. Many of us are in that phase right now. We're doing the work, we're holding on, and yet it feels like life is moving on without us. It's easy to believe something's wrong with us when nothing seems to be sprouting. But what if I told you that your hidden season is not a sign of failure, but of preparation? You see, the darkness isn't punishment. It's protection. It's the environment where roots grow deep, where your spirit anchors itself in something real. Your time of obscurity is not rejection, it's construction. And when the timing is right, when the roots are strong enough, you will emerge, not just to be seen, but to stand. So if you're feeling invisible, if you're questioning your relevance, take a breath. Maybe this isn't the time for visibility. Maybe it's the time for internal strength. And believe me, what grows in the dark often outlives what was rushed into the light. And that brings me to something even more personal. Those times when we feel misunderstood, unseen, or unheard. You know those moments when you sit with a heavy heart, wondering if your voice matters, or if your pain has any place in the grand scheme of life. I've been there. Maybe you've been too. The truth is, our world doesn't always reward quiet endurance. It doesn't always recognize emotional or spiritual battles. But that doesn't mean they don't matter. In fact, it's in these exact moments that something sacred is unfolding inside you. You are not being abandoned, you are being refined. What you're going through is not evidence that you're off track. It's actually a sign that you're being drawn closer to something higher, something deeper, something more lasting. In life, we often think clarity equals peace. But sometimes, it's mystery that deepens our trust. You may not understand why you feel stuck or overlooked, but that doesn't mean you're off course. There is a deep work happening in you, something that can't be rushed, something that will last longer than applause or approval ever could. And when you come out of this quiet season, you'll carry a depth that can't be faked and a strength that can't be shaken. Now let's talk about something that's even harder. Vulnerability. In a world that rewards performance and punishes weakness, it feels risky to show up with our pain, our fears, or our confusion. We hide our scars. We downplay our doubts. We perform while we're breaking inside. But I want to say this clearly. Healing doesn't happen behind masks. It begins the moment we surrender the need to pretend. When we finally say, I'm hurting, or I don't have it all figured out, something holy takes place. Because it's in that space, the space of raw honesty, that transformation starts. That's where love meets us, not to judge us, but to hold us. When you stop hiding your pain and start offering it, offering your anxiety, your guilt, your exhaustion, you allow a power greater than yourself to step in. Not to shame you, but to shelter you. And in that surrender, you'll find freedom. You'll begin to see that your worth is not in your perfection, but in your willingness to be real. That's why your brokenness is not something to fear or be embarrassed by. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a doorway. When you come into that quiet space with your soul exposed, you will discover that healing doesn't require you to have it all together. It simply requires your yes, your willingness to be held, to be loved, to be restored. So far, we've talked about hidden growth, silent refinement, and the courage to be vulnerable. Now let's go deeper, into the places where real change happens, where strength is born in fire, and where your identity finds its foundation. Let's begin with the journey, the walk through difficult seasons. Life is not always a mountaintop view. Often, it feels like a long walk through fog, where every step is uncertain. Sometimes you wonder, am I going the right way? Am I making progress? Or am I just wandering in circles? But here's the truth, even in the fog, you are not walking alone. There's a hand guiding you, not pulling, not pushing, but gently leading. You may not feel it every second, but it's there. A presence that doesn't shout but whispers, keep going. I'm with you. You're not expected to have all the answers or fix everything on your own. You are not meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. The one who crafted your soul leads you with tenderness, not pressure. Sometimes you're meant to walk, and sometimes you're meant to rest, but always you're meant to be guided, not abandoned. And that guidance? It's not just about getting you from one point to another. It's about shaping you, refining you like silver in a fire, removing the things that no longer serve you and bringing out the strength, the clarity, the brilliance that's been buried under years of pressure. What feels like delay is often divine design. What seems like detour is a path of deeper purpose. Now let's talk about the healing that comes when we stop trying to do it all ourselves. So many of us are exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. We've been strong for too long. We've built walls to survive. We've hidden our pain behind smiles and stayed busy so we wouldn't have to feel. But real healing begins the moment we stop running from ourselves and start running toward grace. What if I told you that your brokenness is not your disqualification, it's your offering? The moments when you feel the weakest are often the very moments you are closest to breakthrough. Because in those spaces, something powerful happens. When you open your hands and say, I can't do this alone, love rushes in like a flood. Not judgment, not disappointment, love. There is no scar too deep, no past too messy, no mistake too big that can keep you from being restored. But healing requires honesty. It requires the courage to say, I need help. I need peace. I need to be made whole again. And you are not alone in that desire. There is a love that sees the broken pieces in you and doesn't turn away, but leans in closer. And in that space, between surrender and trust, you begin to find your true self. Let's talk about that now, your identity. Not the one the world tries to define with followers, status, money, or achievements. I'm talking about the identity that was written into your soul long before your first breath. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are not what people called you in your lowest moments. You are beloved, crafted with care, created with intention. Too many of us walk around trying to earn value, chasing validation from people who don't even see our heart. But you were never meant to hustle for worth. You already have it. You were formed in love, designed with purpose, and chosen to carry something this world desperately needs. Your authentic, unfiltered light. Yes, you've been through pain. Yes, you've made mistakes. But none of that disqualifies you from being loved beyond measure. The scars you carry? They tell a story of survival. They show that you didn't quit. And that alone is evidence of something powerful inside you. When you begin to see yourself through the eyes of grace, the lies lose their power. The masks come off. And in that moment, you start to walk in peace. And that's where we'll end, with peace. Not the kind of peace the world gives, the conditional kind that depends on everything going right. I'm talking about the peace that holds you when everything feels like it's falling apart. The peace that anchors you when your thoughts won't stop racing. The peace that shows up not in the absence of a storm, but right in the middle of it. You don't need to have it all figured out to access this peace. You just need to be willing to rest in something greater than yourself. To trust that even when you can't see the whole picture, the brush is in good hands. That the artist painting your life is working with love, precision, and beauty beyond what you can imagine. That peace, it's available now, in this very moment. In your doubt, your questions, your chaos, it's there. Waiting not for your perfection, but for your permission. So as you walk away from this moment, I want you to carry one truth above all else. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. And you are not defined by what happened to you. You are loved. You are seen. You are guided. Even when you feel buried, you are being planted, prepared to rise in strength and purpose. Let today be the day you stop shrinking yourself to fit the expectations of fear. Let today be the day you rest in the truth that you are already enough. that your journey matters. Your healing matters. You matter. And if this message stirred something deep inside you, if it reminded you of your worth, your strength, or the presence that walks beside you, then I invite you to share this light with someone else who may need it. Drop a comment below and tell me which part spoke to your heart the most. Like this video if it helped you breathe a little deeper. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a message created to lift you, encourage you, and remind you of who you truly are. Until next time, keep rising, keep believing, keep walking in the truth of who you were always meant to be. You are not alone. You are deeply, endlessly loved.